Good afternoon. I'm Daniel Miller and this is Destiny Academy. A warm welcome to all of our friends, fans, community members, participants and everyone watching us worldwide on a variety of different platforms. Thank you for joining us and thank you for being here with us again today. Thank you for supporting the channel and most importantly, thank you for supporting our charitable fundraising campaign for Mind Charity, a UK-based charity that is helping people who are experiencing some form of mental health issue or emotional distress. How is everybody doing today? How has your day been so far? I can certainly tell you mine has been very, very good. I've had a very restful night. Before going to bed, I had a look at the new inclusions, the new activities in Destiny 1, Destiny 2, I should say, and I was quite delighted to have seen the beautiful new armor that we're getting through that season of Solstice that kicked off on Tuesday night with Ava Levant and all the other participants. So I just asked earlier Gail whether she popped in, had a look and indeed tried some of that armor. We're engaged with the activities. The activities are quite grindy, quite long-winded, and we get them, if I'm not mistaken, once a year, and then we keep basically working on the armor in order to masterwork it and make it really very pretty to look at and also quite powerful. So pretty to look at is going to be through the grinds, and then the power will be done exclusively through the mods that you're collecting via your seasonal artifact section. So Gail says, I have it done and dusted. Yeah, I mean, lots of people have obviously done it in the past and are not that keen on doing it yet again, and that's been the trend on Reddit. So lots of people voice the concern that there is repetitive content, such as you know, the Guardian games, the Solstice of Heroes, and then we have Christmas events, and you know, these are the regular annual events, and we can always step in and have a bit of fun. We don't have to be grinding it as much or doing it as extensively as we, I guess, would have done once we ventured out to these activities for the first time. So I still think, well, when I play Destiny 2 on my Xbox Series S console, the picture is just out of this world. I've got to say, the graphics, the smart delivery, the upgrades to the next-gen console and its near 4K graphics is just really mouth-watering. I can just sit there and watch it. It's so beautiful, and actually it does really give you a different aura about a game. And as I'm streaming on my PlayStation 4, which is obviously the old gen, the quality of the graphics is very, very highly noticeable, and just enjoyed it really. Glad to hear that Gail played it in the past and obviously completed it. And I guess you also played Gail Guardian games and the Christmas events. What is it called? The season that we are getting at Christmas. So there's like 3 different parts in the course of the year, and we can always do a bit of it if we want to be having fun with our friends and our community members. Bit sort of nippy, a bit no longer as humid as it was here in my local area, which is North London suburbs, and we have we had a bit of rain and we had a bit of wind, so actually the air outside is fairly pleasant, and I'm not suffering anymore from all of that heat related syndrome. Unfortunately, on the continent and also in the US, the temperatures have been reaching historic highs, and as we've seen in France and Spain and Greece, the temperatures yesterday were reaching 43, 44, and we've had our friend Matthias popping in here from the US, who said that in his area it was 46, and Shaba, who was in Georgia, experienced the heat of about 40 degrees. So very, very hot and very, very difficult for anything else due to the humidity. And Shaba said that in his area in Georgia, as they have lots of rivers, it gets extremely humid. We get actually a similar sort of thing in here. The only difference is we were not really reaching that sort of temperature. However, in our area, when we reach like 37, 38, the heat is just unbearable because of its kind of components of damp. The humidity is making it very difficult to breathe, coupled with pollution obviously coming from central London, and that itself is then making it very difficult for us all, and we can just stay indoors or we stay in places where there's a lot of air conditioning. So coming back to what I said yesterday to all of our friends in Europe and in America, if you're experiencing that heat wave, which hopefully will be ending soon, you've got to be doing what needs to be done, and that is you need to keep yourself properly hydrated to start with. You need to have at least 2 to 3 litres of water near you. You need to be drinking this water throughout the day. You need to be indoors or somewhere where you get some air conditioning. Do not go out between 11 a.m. and 5 p.m. Make sure that you're avoiding the big, strong, massive sunlight, as that sort of sun could have detrimental consequences on the skin of the people who are not used to it. Let's not forget, for those people who are living in Central Africa or sub-Saharan areas of Eurasia, or indeed if they were in Southeast Asia, like in Bangladesh, Pakistan, where they get such heat frequently, obviously through the generations people had been already accustomed to it, and genetically they are having a greater sense of resistance towards that heat and dehydration. That's not the case for some of those folks living in Central Europe, and I guess in America as well, some parts of America, and therefore it's very, very important to understand that these kinds of heat waves will be affecting your biology very severely, whether you notice it straight away or not. And the most important thing is to be fully hydrated. What we did do during the last 10 years in London has been a free distribution of water to anyone who was boarding trains or underground, and that's been very, very useful, because you'll have the London Transport staff dishing out those bottles of water, usually half a litre, and people can take up as much as they want, really, and have it at all times on them once travelling underground. Because for all of you who have actually not experienced tube trains, being underground can be unbelievably tricky. It is very hot, you get hot air gravitating as you're in a train. Some of the trains are not air conditioned, and then there is pollution, which is the greatest killer. So it's the heat, pollution, lack of air, and no air conditioning. And if you are standing at a platform of an underground train, you can find yourself feeling really quite sort of unwell due to that pollution and hot air that keeps coming in from everywhere. Sometimes there is draft as well, and that helps. But I have been, not that recently, but on the trains in London where people were literally fainting. They were fainting due to the overall lack of oxygen, really, and the concentration of pollution within the air that they were breathing. And then obviously hot trains, made of steel, and all of that being very, very life-threatening for some people. And obviously people need to be commuting. If they go to work, they need to be travelling. There's actually no way around it. And I just want to say to everyone, just make sure that you are adhering to these sort of health advice that comes your way from your local health authority, or indeed from the institutions that are providing up to date information on the overall temperatures and everything else that one needs to do in order to survive it. So video gaming during that period is obviously one of those activities that can bind us together. It's very popular, it is very connecting, it's very interactive, and if you are in a house or in a big block that has, let's say, 20 or 30 flats, and you do not feel particularly hot, irrespective of the temperatures outside, then obviously the best thing to do is to get together with our online community and then talk and join forces. And then once it gets to 6 o'clock p.m., no longer as hot, you can go outside. But do not try to sunbathe when you are experiencing that sort of heat wave. That is definitely not a thing to do. And lots of our own English people here in my local area tend to do this, and it's extremely dangerous. I have seen people suffering, terrible burns and all kinds of skin-related problems afterwards, and it's just complete nonsense. When you have that sort of temperature, you need to stay away. You can enjoy the sun before 10 or 11 in the morning or after 5 o'clock p.m., but do not do that at the time where the sun is at its peak. Our friend Gail saying, when Guardian Games happened, I was taking a break. Is it back? Yes, it was back a few months ago. It's about 3 months ago. And they've had it for about, was it 4 weeks or so? The usual sort of seasonal content. And Gail says, I have been having a lot of rain. We have a date for getting the kitten. Well, that's very good, because the 13th, so that's about, let's see, about just a bit longer than 3 weeks you'll be able to get a kitten. And what, is the kitten going to come from Chicago? Well, that will be pretty good. And just are you sort of living in a property that is with like a courtyard or a lot of land or something, so the cat can actually go out? Or are you living in a flat? Because having cats in flats is a bit tricky, and building has been here since I think the late 17th, early 18th, and the building's been completely done up on the inside, so it's quite new on the inside, but actually the outside is just as it was 20 years ago or so, and to 20 to 30 years ago. And there have been people in here who actually did have cats in my vicinity. There are quite a few flats in the building, but we have quite a lot of space for them to go out. We have a big courtyard here, which is our parking lot. We have our big park, which is occupying the central section of the town, local nature reserve, so cats can actually go up and down and have plenty of space. And Gail says, yeah, we have a lot of yard space. Well, that will be okay for the kitten and also for the cats in the future, if you are to be getting a few more, or if your cat gets together with some neighbors' cats. So that's most important. I think always for cats and dogs, it's important to have that space. If they're sort of left indoors and they're just outdoor animals, then they need a space to burn up the energy and to do whatever they need to be doing. And generally cats don't really go too far. They're quite territorial. They like keeping an eye on their own turf, and one of the reasons as to why they do that is just to have that sense of safety. You get that in particular, with small kittens. They'll be very playful. They run around a bit, but they'll always come back to that spot which they consider to be theirs. And have you had cats before, or is this the first one that you're having? And Gail says, we have a neighbor with 3 cats. Well, your cat's gonna be certainly good friends, but sometimes tomcats, when it comes to the mating season, they can get a bit rowdy. They can get a bit tough. And I think I told you before the story about my cat Shorty, a very, very lovely homely cat that was deserted by his previous owners, and he lived rough for a while, so he looked like a cat that's been out there in the open for a little while, but he was so grateful when I adopted him that he always kept my yard and our garden completely free from other cats, particularly from tomcats. However, my next door neighbor, who lived in a Victorian terrace house, was having a big cat. So Shorty wasn't that big, but he was tough. He was short but wide. I really like a tough streetwise cat, and he was always keeping that other tomcat away from our garden, which in fact consequently did cause some issues between myself and the neighbors, as the neighbor got very, very annoyed that Shorty was always attacking his cat and chasing him basically away from what Shorty would have seen as his own territory. So Cats are territorial, and Gail says it's going to be the first time, and the neighbor will have 3 cats. Well, what you need to do is you need to make sure that the kitten will have kitten food, which you buy in Walmart or the local superstores, and kittens generally grow up really fast, and I just like them the best when they're small. I had the privilege of having one cat that had some form of genetic anomaly, and she always remained as small as a kitten. She never actually grew up, she was just always tiny, and she was just totally wonderful and really my favorite. And Gail says, yeah, we bought kitten food, it's all ready. Well, that's going to be lots of fun for you all. Do you have any brothers and sisters or anybody else who lives in the house together with you? Because obviously a new pet will be a huge attraction for everyone. And you can get like a small mouse, which is like a woolen, or the toys which you buy in pet shops, and then put it on a rod and connect that mouse with maybe a string. So you keep doing it as you've got the same system like in Destiny 2 with fishing. It looks exactly the same. It looks like a fishing rod, right? You're like an angler, and then you keep throwing this mouse with a string about, and kitten then starts running around and catching it. It's got to be really very soft mouse so the kitten doesn't get injured or anything. And yeah, if you have lots of family members, that will be a huge attraction. Lots of fun. And sometimes you find with people that they'll have the pets first, and then quickly they'll come children. And once you get children, then not necessarily the pets are seen as an asset, because pets will also require attention and money, food. I mean, I have to say, I did actually spend quite a lot of revenue on my cats at a time, because initially I had 1 cat, then I had 2 cats, and then suddenly 6 cats, because my mother cat, she basically had 4 kittens, and then we gave away 2 of these kittens, and the other ones are so lovely we actually didn't have hearts to give them away, and then we kept them, so we had 4, and for all of them there had to be obviously regular food and all the other things, and particularly with the insurance with the vet, which was going to be costing. And it's so funny because I've taken Shorty at one time to the vet, and Shorty had hardly any teeth, and he was like very old. He was 20 years plus. He was a very old cat, but very tough. And any time that the vet wanted to do something with his teeth, Shorty would just bite him and wouldn't really let go. And the vet was quite old, so he was so hilarious. It was like something out of Nickelodeon, it was really funny. But the biggest expense we had on Minnie, because Minnie was developing lots of illnesses, and we always had to pay for the medicaments and everything else. And then sadly she passed away due to some sort of cancer that she developed, and I guess it could have been connected with the genetic anomaly, because she was a tiny little cat that never really grew much. She was just really tiny, but absolutely lovely, and my favorite cat of all times. As I told you before, she was always following me around, and if there were visitors or guests coming in, she would always come and then sit in between my legs. Sit down on a chair, and she would be just there to make sure that I was there to protect her, myself being sort of a fairly big bloke, 6'2", and the cat really knew that. And then at night she'd come to my bed, she'd sleep near my head. It was quite an experience, because at the time he was the first first lot of cats I would have acquired since my early childhood, so it'd been many years in between. And also, as we lived in North London, and in an area that has really lots of green and gardens, and near Major Park, it was very easy for us to have cats. But I wouldn't really endorse the idea of having them in a flat where the cats couldn't go out much, and that the cats would get then really too tense. And when the cats are tense, they can do certain things to the property, like they can scratch furniture, they can urinate, and do a few other things which are not very pleasant. But if you have a cat flap, they go in and out by themselves, no problem. Cat flap is essential. You have got to have a cat flap. Maybe not just one, but several. That is really essential. Well, as you could see, Gail's getting her kitten, and I guess some other people are also having their pets. I know that Shaba yesterday had to step out for a minute as we were doing Prison of Elders, because his dog needed attention. The dog had to be going out for a stroll, and just one of those things. Shaba lives in Georgia. I think he was living in quite a rural area, so there's plenty of green and forests and everything nearby, and that itself is very good for the owners and for the pets. Alright, well, how is everybody doing today? What are people doing? I can tell you yesterday, I actually forgot to tell you yesterday, I talked about Twitch and all the other things that came from the convention in Paris, held a couple of weeks ago, and that was very interesting. It was the first big encounter after the pandemic with the Twitch executives. There was a lot of information that I've given you with, I think, 2 or 3 of their top people who were describing the future of Twitch and the current threats and the overall feedback that they're getting and their response to the new rules and the complaints that were generated from the gaming community. So it was very interesting. Anyway, it was a lengthy discussion, so I forgot within the discussion to tell you that I actually played Exoprimal. Right? Exoprimal is a new Capcom game that came out day one on Xbox Game Pass, and it's a very weird mixture. I've got to say, it's a very weird mixture of Anthem stroke Titanfall type of characters and outfits with Jurassic Park, because you have these weird suits you need to put on with lots of different abilities, very similar to what we have in Anthem. In fact, the suit I had on my character so far was identical to the one that the Anthem character also had. So, it's got like lots of different abilities that you can use when you're fighting swarms of enemies. And what was interesting for me, I played it for a couple of hours, so I had about 6 achievements within that period. And it's good to see that the game is collecting achievements rapidly. What I don't like about games like Destiny is that the achievements are very hard to get. So if you are a consistent everyday player of Destiny, you're getting very few achievements. That's something that I don't really like. I think it's very important for people to play a massive big game that's going to take a lot of time to get various achievements that will register with your console or whatever platform you're playing it on. What I liked about Exoprimal is a very sort of uncanny, unusual blend of PvP activity and cutscenes, which are story driven. So that was quite good. It was a bit surprising because every single time I've gone in to fight the monsters, the dinosaurs, and all the other types of ancient creatures that are attacking, my characters, every single time I had to be using these special abilities, and they're a bit tricky to learn because there are quite a few, but still the weapons worked and it didn't seem to be too much of a difficulty in order to finish some of these battles and the sequences that were given to us. Still don't really understand how the PvP would work within it, like 2 teams playing against each other, but so far so good. Very interesting. And I have seen that some reviews were kind of lukewarm. They were not that excited about the prospect of entering the world, I guess resembling those films and games I specified, and it seemed a bit linear as far as the initial battles were concerned, but there were some really tricky bosses and there were some really beautifully designed creatures for everyone to enjoy. So I think people are going to have a lot of fun. Whether it will be a huge success remains to be seen, but Capcom are always presenting us with the games that can be evolving over a period of time. So I think this to be having DLCs or any additional content, and I really tremendously enjoyed Monster Hunter World, and Capcom always have these monsters attacking the lead characters, be it in zombified or any other form, and highly recommend to everyone. I mean, basically, I keep saying this here every single day. You've got to be trying these streaming services, and you've got to be claiming the freebies. If people don't do that, these services will cease, and the corporates like Microsoft will come up with some other method. And they obviously realized that having the Game Pass and their streaming services is financially beneficial to them. So why not take the opportunity? There are so many different games you can play there on the price of that subscription, and make sure that you're getting it. I have actually some other news related to Xbox and the new games that will be included. Yesterday, I think I did not mention the new system, Xbox Live Gold, will disappear, and we are not going to be getting any more freebies every single month from them. Usually they were about between 2 and 4. They've actually created a separate section that will provide you with a number of games that can be streamed and will be offered at a separate price. I'll actually tell you a bit about that once we get to the news. Lots of changes really as far as the packages are concerned. It's for the first time that Microsoft is changing the policy on the packages, and I guess they want to be making sure that what is offered is actually very popular. The reason that they're changing Xbox Live Gold, I think, is generally linked with the types of games they're offered, and many people not claiming them at all, be not interested. I'll give you an example. I can't remember what the game's called now. I'll tell you actually what it's called. I got it on the app. I picked it up this month, and it's offered as a part of the packages with Xbox Live Gold. It's a game where you play somebody who's blind. So what you are experiencing in the game is as if you were blind, right? So you don't see much. You have to be responding to the colors which keep forming in your mind and the noise, the sounds that keep coming from different parts of your environment. And that was like really, really interesting. I've got to say, I was really surprised with how it worked and what kind of impact it had on me. I never played a game like this before, but I'll give an example. This is a game where you are playing the character who is blind, who can't see. So what you see on the screen is very similar or almost identical to what a blind person would be experiencing from within, right? It's a very, very interesting concept. I did listen to he's one of the lead developers on Forza, who had created Forza for people who are blind, and he is actually blind himself. So he learned through the system that he established basically how to play the game in order to compete, and exclusively, I guess, relying on the impact that the colors would have on his mind, as well as the sounds coming in from left, right, center, above and below, etc. So that's really interesting. So, you know, in the course of 1 week, I listened to this interview, which was truly fascinating. It's a pioneering project. I've never seen or heard anything like it, and in fact, it's quite hard to conceptualize, thinking that this gentleman who is part of the team working for the company that made Forza, he actually learned it in so well that he was able to compete and win races. I just don't. It's very hard to understand how this is possible, but it is possible. And he was explaining as to how this indeed was developing over a certain period of time, and as to why he became interested and involved and how he excelled. So quite an interesting concept, as I said, and the game that they offered, I'll tell you what the game's called. Bear with me, I just need to get my achievements and then I'll be able to tell you. Oh, it's the wrong app, I think. Yep, that's right. So quite frankly, if you're interested, I can tell you what I played of late. Destiny 2, obviously. I played Merge and Blade. I played Exoprimal. I played Grand Theft Auto Online. Actually, it's GTA 5, both for Xbox One and Xbox Series S and X. I played Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon. That's Wildlands, the highly acclaimed one. Then Naraka Blade Point, that's just gone free, and the game is accessible on any platform. Monster Sanctuary, I played Spelunky. Spelunky is about to disappear from Game Pass. The game I talked about a lot here is Dodon, and that is the game that looks a bit like watercolor paintings. Stacking I played, this was a very enjoyable game. The Bookwalker Thief of Tales, that's a very good RPG. I highly recommend it to everyone. Sword and Fairy, Together Forever, I just had a look at the game. It's again a Japanese type of RPG, very similar to Final Fantasy. Ghostwire Tokyo, Mass Effect Andromeda, and there it is, the game I want to tell you, The Veil. It's called The Veil Shadow of the Crown. That is the game where you're playing the lead character, a girl who is blind, and she needs to be escaping from, I guess, the experience I had was, well, I haven't played it for very long. It was similar to what you would have had. Just think of the Plague Tale, right? Think about this game, and then think about being in an environment where you have to be fleeing from the rats, from the enemy, from anyone who is basically chasing you and your brother, but you cannot see. So it's almost as if you're playing Plague Tale, and you are in this environment where you're blind, you can't see what's happening. So really very, very interesting concept. And then in addition to this, I also played Gears of War Ultimate Edition, which looks really absolutely fantastic. Bramble, I tried, very interesting game. One of those greatly highly acclaimed but grossly underrated, I think, generally, in terms of the interest. Fist, Forged in Shadow Torch, is a very interesting game as well. And the list goes on and on. I can just tell you, I tried 7 Days to Die as well, and tried Rune Factory Special. You see, it's very many games, and all of that has been made possible through the Game Pass streaming services. And you have exactly the same thing on PlayStation Plus if you're subscribed to the premium, and you can get all these games. They'll be at your fingertips. You can just click on a button, stream or download, and you can just play the game on that subscription price. It's a tremendous value, and I just urge everyone to be trying the games and indeed enjoying them once they're offered. Okay, so let me just see what else I just received. Just bear with me a second. Apologies for this short break, but I just had to double check something here, and that's all now sorted. Alright, so I talked about the games available through various streaming services. I think that's actually leading us very nicely to the news that I received since yesterday. So let's have a look. And I think the first thing I want to tell you is the change I spotted yesterday on Xbox. And just bear with me, I need to get this up and running. I have lots of different things that are included in here. I'll tell you a bit about Exoprimal as well. Yeah, Tom Warren had indicated this yesterday through The Verge. If you are an avid fan, you will know The Verge really has a dedicated section to video gaming, and Tom Warren is the senior editor. So they'll basically say goodbye to Xbox Live branding and games with gold. Microsoft is launching a new Xbox Game Pass Core subscription. So the new service is going to be called Xbox Game Pass Core, right? So that's replacing the Xbox Live Gold. This new Game Pass Core offering will include the usual Xbox Online console multiplayer support, deals and discounts, and a new small catalogue of more than 25 games. So I guess they're just like a lower tier of the games which you can stream if you want to be just accessing live services, i.e. being able to use the multiplayer on Xbox, and then you get up to 25 games initially. So it's like a very basic pack. And some of these games will be very good. For instance, well, 3 of their proprietary games that I played, I think, are really amazing. Gears 5, Forza Horizon 4, and Psychonauts 2 are the games that are included from day one. And existing Xbox Live Gold members will be automatically transferred across to Xbox Game Pass Core on September the 14th, so that's in about 2 months, with the service price at the same rate of $9.99 per month, that is $9.99 per month, or $59.99 per year. as Xbox Live Gold. So the changes, I mean, the price is exactly the same. As part of this replacement subscription, Microsoft is discontinuing games with gold on September the 1st. So if you are still a subscriber, presently you have got to be claiming these games before everything is being taken down. And so they say the perk that's allowed Xbox owners to grab free games monthly for a decade and add them to their content library. I've got loads of these, I tell you, and some of them are really good. I've got the Division 1, for instance, on Xbox through the Gold service, and also every week we were getting anything between 2 to 5 different freebies, which we could try for the whole weekend. And usually the freebies were quite good. They had AAA blockbusters and the new games and all sorts, and frequently these games were not on the Game Pass. So it was a fantastic opportunity just to try them and see whether you like them, and eventually, obviously, you could get them for yourself through purchasing. Any Xbox 360 titles that were redeemed in the past will be permanently kept in library, but Xbox One titles rely on an ongoing subscription to Xbox Game Pass Core or the Ultimate. Well, I mean, they will not delete the games, they will be just part of the bank, and if you're a subscriber, let's say you discontinue, come back to it in the future, you still will be able to use the games and the titles that you claimed. And that's just the policy across the board, really, with different companies. Remember that many people assume that if you just, it's similar to Google, or to iCloud. You get what you pay for. So if you back up your data to iCloud or G Drive, and then you stop paying for a subscription, they will not delete your files as it stands today. I mean, things can change in the future, obviously, but they will be keeping the information on it, but they will not allow you to be adding anything new because you're not paying for it. And the change in here is identical. It means that you will be able to keep all the games, but in order to access them, similar to what you access on the Game Pass, you would have to have an active subscription, because guess what? You are downloading these games from the server. I think a lot of people see this as a bit of a cheat. They will be seeing it as a way through which people are going to be coerced to subscribe to the new core system, or indeed to the Ultimate, maybe even more so towards the Ultimate, being biased towards the Ultimate more than anything else. And I guess this is just a marketing strategy. But on the other hand, in order to be able to play multiplayer on Xbox, you will need to be a member of the new Xbox Live Core services, right? I think that's what what everyone's going to be paying for, to be able to access the multiplayer. If you don't pay it, I don't think you'll be able to play, unless they change the policy. But that's the way it was. More than 25 games that Microsoft is including in Game Pass Core are designed to replace games with gold, and they said that it will add new titles 2 to 3 times a year, so it won't be as regular as you get it on the Ultimate subscription and the Game Pass. We wanted to use this opportunity to reimagine how to include content with this subscription, says Jared West, CVP of Gaming Marketing at Xbox. We found that the answer to the most compelling catalogue was to leverage select titles from our Xbox Game Pass catalogue. This catalogue of games will be a lot more limited than the full Xbox Game Pass subscription, which you pay $10.99 a month for, and Microsoft is only confirming 19 of the launch titles today. So let's see the titles that they confirmed. They're actually very good. I mean, if you're paying so little and you're getting such titles, you should be extremely happy. I'm quite surprised, really. The titles are really heavyweights and top-notch games. Many of them are basically Xbox exclusives, and anyone, they want to be selling the Game Pass as the next big thing, which is fully aligned to PCs. And anyone who wants to subscribe to the Game Pass and has a PC will not need to be purchasing a console. So it's a completely different strategy compared to what they had for about 15-17 years. And I think it will work. It will work because they are bringing back the games to their own origins, to the beginning, where the games were playable only on PCs in the 90s, early 90s in particular, with the new Windows being invented, new operating systems, and everything being owned by the corporation. And so that's the that. Anyway, I won't tell you the games. that they'll be offering on the list, and that is Among Us, Descenders, Dishonored 2. It's a very good game, Dishonored 2. Doom Eternal, very good game. So Fable Anniversary, Fallout 4, Fallout 76, Forza Horizon 4, Gears 5, Grounded, Halo 5 Guardians, Halo Wars 2, Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice, Human Fall Flat, Inside, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, Psychonauts, State of Decay, The Elder Scrolls Online. So actually almost every one of these games is owned by Microsoft. All exclusives, and I very highly recommend quite a few of these. Zenny talked about Inside, which is a smaller game, but I certainly say Ori and the Will of the Wisps is a great game. Anyone who likes platformers, just absolutely be, two games there really of Ori's. Psychonauts is a very funny game. State of Decay, if you like survival stroke horror, one of the best ever made. And then Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice is probably, I'd say, the game that portrays mental illness by far the best compared to any other title that I've seen. Highly recommend it to everyone who's interested in playing that sort of character. And then we have also Halo, obviously Halo 5 Guardians, and Gears 5, Forza Horizon. So really, Fallout 76, Fallout 4, Fable Anniversary, Doom Eternal. Well, you know it all. It's just absolutely terrific games. And Xbox Game Pass Core could lead to some confusion around the online multiplayer aspects of Game Pass in general. While Core includes multiplayer, the regular Xbox Game Pass that's priced higher does not. You still need Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. So it's not just the Game Pass, it's the Ultimate for the benefits of Game Pass and online multiplayer. Microsoft has not solved the potentially confusing aspect of needing Xbox Live Gold alongside a regular Game Pass subscription, and the rebranding arguably makes it even more confusing. And either way, the writing has been on the wall for Xbox Live Gold for a couple of years, so it's not surprising to see existing subscribers moved over to an Xbox Game Pass branded subscription. And Microsoft also rebranded Xbox Live to Xbox Network in 2021, but kept the Xbox Live Gold naming for its most basic subscription. So let's have a look. Is there anything else? Well, I told you the prices, so that's basically the news. I forgot to mention it yesterday, but it's big news. Anyone who's on Xbox and who's an avid gamer on Game Pass, we talked about the increment. The increment's going to be about $3. The price is going to go up, and I think it's still a very low price considering what we are getting. And for the Ultimate subscription, you get the full inclusion of all the games to be downloaded to your PC, so it's like a Game Pass for PC together with the console and your Android. So it's a very good deal. I guess people who are just playing one game may feel that it's over the top, but for somebody like myself who's a variety gamer who likes enjoying a variety of different titles, and also somebody who is constantly following what's happening out there in industry, and we've seen a fantastic development in the last 10 years. It's unbelievable. I just had the article today saying, are you fully aware of the fact that Battle Royale, these seasons that have been introduced to Battle Royale games, they've been only around for less than 10 years, and it was Dota, in fact, it was Dota 2 that introduced seasonal content, like the whole thing that comes together with your pass, which you purchase once every 3 or 4 months, and it just the development has gone up and up, and what we're getting today, when you compare that even with 5-6 years ago, it's just absolutely incredible. And remember when they started out with the Destiny's seasonal content, and I thought the first year was fantastic. The first year of the first 3 seasons, there was so much to do. It was just revolutionizing the game. I'd say for myself, the first 3 seasons in Destiny 2 were almost the same, like the Taken King expansion that changed and created like an overhaul of the original Destiny 1 game, and I definitely like it. So okay, so that's what we've seen and heard about Xbox. We have quite a few postings linked to Destiny. So let me just quickly have a look at this. The first one is from, yet again, Paul Tassi. Paul Tassi is a writer who contributes to Forbes, and he gets these articles on Destiny on everyday basis. So he's talking about the poll, which indicates that playtime on Destiny 2 may be dropping dramatically in Season of the Deep. So I'm curious, I've not actually looked into that in depth. He says, want to obviously thank Paul Tassi for writing, and I'll be just quoting everything I've said. Need to make sure that people realize it's not myself writing this, or pulling it out of a hat. It is based on a number of online outlets and news hubs that are providing us with everyday news, and I always tell you where the news are coming from, right? I've got to be very careful after they've changed these rules on copyright on Twitch and other forums, and one has to be always doing exactly the same to what you would do if you were doing a doctorate. Always need to quote what the content is, where it's been taken, and who's written it. Otherwise, somebody who's listening could come up with a copyright claim. So anyway, coming back to what Paul Tassi said, he is basically questioning the player drop on the everyday activity of Destiny 2. So he says the overall player count in Destiny 2 may not be at record low levels just yet in Season of the Deep. I have noticed the trend as of late where people keep telling me just how little they're playing. Well, that's true, but I think it's to do with overall perception of the game. This season is very good. There's lots of content and it's highly enjoyable. It's anecdotal, of course, but I wanted to try to quantify that. While most people cannot pinpoint the exact number of hours they may have played this season, it's easy enough to check your season pass level and then compare it to where you usually might be in this point of a season with about a month left to go. I put a poll up to try to get some data here. That's Paul Tassi doing the poll. While this may not be scientific, I did get over 42,000 responses across both parts, and given my followership, I believe this skews towards more average Destiny players than casuals who may not get very far in any season. So the results are kind of quite shocking, and this disparity is clear and vast. So let me see what the stats are. So that is, what is your rank in the Deep Season Pass? 0 to 30, 25%, 30 to 60, 19%, 60 to 100, 22%, and the top one, 100 plus, is 33%. So obviously he is concerned about many people 4 weeks before the end of the season still being within the bracket of 0 to 60. But on the other hand, when I started out on the season, initially the progression was extremely rapid, and I think they've kind of toned it down somewhat, because I've played quite a few things recently and I've not been progressing as fast. Anyway, I think generally it's a mixture of things. It's the loot you're getting for the season, as well as the overall seasonal content that you're getting through the kind of quarterly inclusions, and they really excel with these story missions. I have to say, the combination of cutscenes with story missions that blend in Gambit style activity with the new sections, all aligned with the narrative, and then you get NPCs at the end telling you a bit more about the lore. It really works, and it's really very good, and I think that's the way they wanted to have Destiny from the start, but obviously they couldn't do it due to the underdevelopment of the tech, and this is what they confirmed several times. It's likely that the future seasons and the future content is going to be much more aligned with the story and the storytelling as you would see it in some other RPG games overall. So I think it's going to be quite a sharp distinction, and Bungie will need to get some really good people to work on the narrative, in order to kind of bring it to the level of Bethesda or BioWare, the companies that really excelled with story-driven RPGs. But I think that is going to be ensuring the longevity of the game, so that people who play Destiny in 2014, 2015 will still want to play it in 2027, 2028. Destiny's universe is vast, and there are many characters and many things that people can be exploring. So if they were to create a section which is fully educational and interactive, I do want to stress this word interactive, then they can get lots of people coming in and learning about everything Destiny related. I had a difficulty in Mass Effect with what's it called, Codex. So it's basically logging in whatever you're doing, and every bit of information that's connected to the environment, the characters, the universe that you're visiting is stated in that. It's like an encyclopedia in brief. And this encyclopedia was some of it on the Legendary, some of it did have voiceovers so that it'd be read out to you. The fact it's just being read out to you comes across as a bit mundane. if it had been created as interactive, you would be wanting to find out more by clicking on different buttons and asking different things and so. So you know, that is basically the way I would have preferred it. I would have seen that as being a lot more engaged, because you want to be exploring as a gamer. You want to walk to the open world. You want to discover certain things like dead ghosts, and each dead ghost could be linked to a story based on a certain character. The fact that a guardian had fallen, and then you would have, you know, think about it, 20 dead ghosts, 20 different guardians, 20 different battles, 20 different planets, 20 different, do you see what I mean? So all of that could have been made more interactive, and I think that probably is going to be the case in the future. Don't forget, themselves are learning as they go along. You can have a brilliant idea, but if it backfires, you need to obviously all change the system for the others to be, you know, kept happy. The gamers, the participants, the viewers, and everyone else who's hopping in. And it's just a long-term process that requires a lot of attention. Okay, so let me see what else he said. He said under 8% of respondents say they would be below even level 60 in the season pass in a normal season for Deep. That increases it to whopping 44%. The higher end is equally eye-catching. Normally 72% of people say they'd be over 100 rank in the season pass. Some commented that this would be more like 150 to 250, while just 33% of respondents say they're that high now. Well, the fact is, if you are playing the game 6 to 8 hours a day, you're hammering it and you're doing all the pinnacle activities, you are going to be rapidly progressing. The fact that people are not wanting to go back to Guardian games or Sources of Heroes, like what Gail said, is linked with their, I guess, oversaturation with the repetitive content. I mean, Solstice today looks very good. You know, the graphics are better, there's extra activities, and you need to do it in a team. It just looks and feels very good. I've done it with Sekopupo quite a bit a couple of years ago, and we were getting a bit tired of it, you know. It was happening at night, and then we were doing exactly the same thing with some of the bosses, and it's okay for the time being. And I think it's a kind of activity which you will do maybe for a couple of weeks, and you would throw it in together with whatever other tasks or grinds you're getting, and that's it. It's not a kind of activity which you are going to be entertaining every day the whole day. So, you know, I guess down to the player preference as well. And Paul Tazzy says, well, I can actually say the same is true for me. This is easily the lowest rank I've been in a season in a very long time. I just hit level 100, when normally I would be well past that, and that's with me logging in to make sure I hit 100 before the season ended, by doing specific challenges and taking advantage of the reset XP boosts. At the very least, I did not want to miss out on the armor ornaments in the pass. I have never been close to worried about not finishing a battle pass before. And he said, again, overall player count is not plunging yet, but we'll keep an eye on this next month, and I do think the above demonstrates something significant about the way Year 6 is going. Something has changed. You know, he talked a lot about the good and the bad things, and he is very connected to the overall kind of participation within our Destiny community, and many points that he raises are extremely important, and I think Bungie needs to be both reading the articles and taking them very seriously. And I mean, at the end of the day, as I said many times, the direction that Destiny is taking will be based on what comes from the participants, and I still feel, correct me if I'm mistaken, our friends here who've been doing Destiny for 10 years or so, correct me if I'm mistaken, I still feel that there is a big division between those people who are doing the game every day. So it's like really dedicated gamers and veterans, and, you know, people who like PvP. So one lot of people, they want to see more of the RPG story-based content. They want the story to be the predominant force that's connecting with gamers and is creating or paving the path for future activities. The other group is very much into PvP Halo style. They don't want much of cutscenes. They don't want many campaigns or anything which does not include play against the player. And I think Destiny provides and caters for the both. You know, I think the Crucible, for those who like death matches and like hammering the opponents, collecting scores, is ideal. There's a tiny maps, hammering all the time, and you can be collecting the scores, and that's about it. I'm not keen on that. That doesn't provide me with any form of excitement or reward. I find it incredibly boring and, mundane. I find it very exciting if we create a private match and we play against each other. So that's funny, and we can have a lot of fun. We're not going to be doing that all the time. So as long as you've got two different groups of people in the community who want completely different things, there will be a certain degree of dissatisfaction. And I think Bungie needs to be taking both of these into account. They need to be considering, first of all, the longevity of the game and the costs attached to it. And then in addition to that, they need to provide something that will keep the PvP players as occupied as possible. And I think the system they have is good enough. That's certainly my opinion and my experience that I've had over the years. It is evolving and it's providing interesting content, and the game works generally. And I've seen that the error messages that were plaguing us, they are sort of receding somewhat. They've not gone away completely, but we've had a few of them during the recent days, and I really relieved to see that, because I was very, very annoyed with baboons and weasels and affecting both streams and gameplay. So it will be down to Bungie to resolve this. Okay, so we've seen that was coming from Paul Tassi. Then we've heard, let me see, there was another. We have some rumors spreading around indicating that the Final Shapes new subclass is going to be leaked, and that's been ahead of the upcoming Destiny 2 showcase. Bungie officially announced a Destiny 2 showcase where it will officially reveal the next big expansion in Destiny 2, which is called the Final Shape. So the Final Shape is set to conclude Destiny's long-running Light and Darkness saga in February of 2024. So still a few months to go, and as you know, they've been releasing now the new expansions in February. Ever since the new Strand subclass was introduced in the Lightfall expansion, players have been curious if Bungie would add a third Darkness subclass to the Final Shape expansion, and it looks like we might have some confirmations on that front. So this comes from a Reddit post on the Destiny 2 Leaks subreddit, where a user posted a link to possibly in-development footage showcasing a transmat effect with the Guardian spawning in the helm. And if you are interested in what this looks like, you can go to my Twitter. The posting is there. You'll be able to see the video as well. The video has been posted. The interesting part of this clip is the abilities which are visible for a brief moment. There seems to be a new super icon with the overall red subclass color scheme, which is something we've not seen in Destiny 2 before. And there is the clip. So actually I can probably give you this clip. Let me just see. Yeah, if you want to see, you can just go to this clip. Okay, I'll put that clip on my chat. So anybody interested, just have a look. Yeah. So what's happening? Why can't I see what I posted? Don't get it. Oh no, I've got it actually. I can see that. It's just on this app. It's not. For some reason on my Twitch app I can't see what I posted. Hang on. That's really odd. Don't know what's causing it, but I believe you can see it there on the chat. It's just my secondary not really giving me the information. So what I did do was I posted the video that is on this article. It's on the Game Post article, and if you're interested in what this looks like, whether this is likely to be the new subclass, just have a look, hit the button and you'll be able to get it. Then we have an article linked to Destiny. Despite $500,000 win against the abusive fan, Destiny 2 developers are still being harassed. And just because they work for Bungie. So this comes from PC Gamer and Andy Chalk, who is also their senior writer. He said Bungie warned Destiny fans not to expect increased interactions with this community team anytime soon. And they won $500,000 in damages from a Destiny 2 player. Basically, the settlement was reached in court, who subjected one of his community managers to repeated racist harassment and threats. The victory was hailed by developers at Bungie and beyond as a significant step forward in the effort to eliminate abuse from fans in inverted commas. Catherine Tewson, a paralegal who worked on the case, said the ruling in favor of Bungie has created a path for those with the resources to identify sarcastic terrorists and hold them accountable. I agree with that. I mean, absolutely crazy that somebody would feel completely oblivious to the consequence if they were to be going back to the developer and then abusing in the most unacceptable fashion to those people who worked on a game. And on this game, in this case, obviously, is people who work for Bungie. It's just absolutely crazy, and I'm, in awe of the court case. And I actually want to ask other developers to do exactly the same. And when certain individuals who are bent on destruction and bent on evil, they will see that they're no longer anonymous. They cannot do that. They will have an afterthought. They will seriously consider whether they want to be talking like this to others or not. And I always think that what is seen as unacceptable in our living community needs to be seen as unacceptable throughout the online spaces too. And the same laws and the same rules need to apply. I know that the corporations have been resisting this. The corporations running the forums like Internet and Twitter, Instagram and Twitter, but this is necessary. During the pandemic, people actually communicated exclusively online. There were hardly any contacts face to face, and that should be a very good lesson to everyone who is monitoring what's happening in this sort of online universe. So the statement came in response to a post that asked Bungie to make more use of the Destiny 2 team social media account the studio established in January to help us move away from using community managers. That's the change that we were discussing here throughout the week. You remember I told you that the change was applied, and the old community manager, who was really quite well known and very popular amongst the gamers, he was with Bungie since the Halo days, if I'm not mistaken. He's been shifted, or I don't know whether he retired or he went. I can't remember exactly the reasons. I need to obviously double check on the facts, but basically the new system is completely different. Whether this is like a red herring or not remains to be seen. And so they said, Bungie said at the time that the goal was to avoid the need to follow and tag several community managers, but there was no overlooking the fact that the change came just months after former community manager DMG04 said on Reddit that CMs had reduced communication with fans because of the persistent serious abuse they were facing. That should be completely unacceptable. Do you actually go to a bank, or do you go to your local authority, local council offices, and you start abusing somebody who's supposed to be providing you with some assistance? You don't do that, because of immediate repercussions, immediate consequence, arrest, imprisonment, court, penalties, fines, depending obviously on the severity of the abuse. In Britain, we had voted very stringent laws that will be closely observed in courts for certain types of offences. And what was being perfectly normal, if said 20, 30 years ago, today is seen as a serious criminal offence, which could end up with a long-term imprisonment. So people need to be thinking a bit more about what is being said in such forums, and also they need to exercise some degree of caution and discipline when talking to the developers. I mean, what's the idea? Abusing somebody who works on Destiny. This is a fantastic game. Obviously, you may be disagreeing with some aspects of it, but these are people who work extremely hard. 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, and what do they get from you? Just because you paid for the game or you paid for the expansion, you feel entitled to be abusing? It's completely unacceptable. That said, it will be beneficial for everyone if you use the account more than you currently do, whether it is actually a response to specific feedback or whether these are responses that explain why certain things are unfeasible, so you can receive less feedback that you can't do anything with. I just think it would be better for everyone. So that is the well, somebody who is a member of Destiny community called Kruggles30, and he was just requesting for more communication. What I'm trying to say is, I'm in two minds about this, because you can be shifting and changing the positions in there in order to minimize the contact that people need to have with their community, and that's detrimental to the future of the game. Or it could be in response to very huge amount of hostility coming from certain members of the community, and we're talking just very small numbers. The person who was being stranded with $500,000 penalty is just one person, and he was causing all the havoc. But why was he not really extinguished at an earlier stage? So, Gail's asking, do you want to play with Zenith today? Of course, I will bring in both Zenith and yourself today, but we've not come to the part of my broadcast where we are going to be doing the game. So, in due course, once we get to it, we'll bring everyone in, and we are going to be cracking on with our usual online gaming activities. But we've not really reached that stage in the broadcast as yet, so just we need a bit more time really to go through the news, because I received quite a lot of I have quite a lot of news still to tell you, and Bungie made it clear that this is not going to happen anytime soon, and they said developers who are not even CMs are still being harassed just because they work at Bungie. So using the CM account, that is community manager, on Reddit will put a bigger target on all of the community managers' backs, and that will be completely unacceptable. I completely understand the want to go back to how we used to respond all the time here, but that time's passed. Until everyone can feel safe again, I wouldn't expect to see many responses from us here in the foreseeable future. So it's a lengthy article tackling the abuse, and I'm just very unhappy to hear that these things are persisting. There was another thing on Destiny still. Let me just see where it is. Actually, that's probably all that we have today on Destiny. Okay, so the other bit of news, which is obviously linked to Microsoft and Activision merger, indeed is indicating that there's been a significant progression towards that being finalized, and we've heard that the deal will now have to pass by October the 18th. The Xbox Activision have been extended by 3 months. I think previously they were looking at what would be 18th of July or so, right? In a tweet, Xbox chief Phil Spencer confirmed that Microsoft and Activision Blizzard have extended the merger agreement deadline to October the 18th. That follows the deal's failure to meet the original deadline, which was set for July the 18th. July the 18th, that would have been yesterday. Okay. But was hindered by legal process. Should the deal fall through, Microsoft will now have to pay up to a maximum of $4.5 billion rather than the original $3 billion as a termination fee. And one of the biggest milestones was the recent FTC trial, which was intended to prevent the deal from passing before that initial deadline. Microsoft won the right to continue, but the process still held up the deal by several weeks. The merger has also been hindered by the UK's Competition and Markets Authority, which blocked the deal earlier this year. So both Activision Blizzard and Microsoft appealed the CMA's decision, but it's understood that the appeals process has been put on hold while all parties attempt to come to an agreement. That's not quite true. They extended that as well. Yesterday I had the news. Maybe this article has been posted before the news arrived yesterday. So that is all sorted. So it looks like the extension was granted in the US for the merger to be finalized on by the October the 18th. So we just have to wait and see what happens. So yeah, we have a bit. Oh yeah, that's a video. I talked already about Solstice of Heroes, but Paul Tassi had left a video there on his profile saying Solstice 2023 is here, and these are my first impressions and the return of Bonfire Bash, the small changes and other stuff. So it's his review of the season, and he indeed can be read on my Twitter. Xbox fixed the multiplayer service for an underrated Xbox 360 game from 2007, showing its commitment to the backward compatibility lineup. That comes from Game Rant. And they said that following the feedback from fans, Xbox has fixed the multiplayer servers for the underrated Xbox 360 game from 2007 called Shadowrun. Since the release of the Xbox Series X and S, Xbox has remained dedicated to keeping the integrity of backward compatible titles intact, a theme it is continuing with Shadowrun. And Harebrained Schemes released Shadowrun in 2007 as an online-only experience, something that was relatively uncommon at the time. Based on a tabletop series with the same name, fans of Shadowrun could pick between 4 playable races, the human, dwarf, elf and troll, which all offered their own unique benefits in the untraditional BFS setting. So they fixed the server, so I believe the game is fully working. And they said that the Xbox Mod Squad team has fixed the matchmaking in the Shadowrun multiplayer, and according to another participant, the matchmaking was made worse when Microsoft adjusted the Call of Duty games, which caused several Shadowrun fans to message the Xbox support them. So that is resolved. If you want to be playing the game, that is going to be up and running on Xbox 360. You see, Invincible comic series is getting its first ever video game. And that is certainly very much of interest. We've seen a surge of many different characters from DC and Marvel superhero universe who actually been migrating to the video gaming world, and this is just one of those. And this is a very popular hit I should say. This Invincible is the hit comic book series that was later adapted into a popular animated series on Prime Video, and it is getting its first ever video game later this year. Coming to iOS and Android, Invincible Guarding the Globe is a free-to-play idle squad based RPG from Ubisoft's Barcelona mobile studio. So that is coming to iPhone and Android, so that's really very good news. And then we can also just literally remember that it's been 10 years since Valve invented the Battle Pass and then changed gaming world forever. In just a decade, they've gone from a novel way to raise a tournament prize pool to a defining business model of the games industry. That the game comes from PC Gamer, and the articles written by Mr. Mike Stubbs, one of the senior writers. So 10 years ago, Valve invented the Battle Pass. The developer was looking for a way to boost the cash it was offering to pro players of its game Dota 2 and make some bank for itself in the process. Charging people to watch the tournaments wasn't really viable after 2 years of giving it away for free, and putting ads around the broadcast or in-game would annoy a ton of people. But then Valve had a brainwave. What if it sold a digital book and included some hats? So this may be an oversimplification of the process that went on at Valve all those years ago, but the result was the International 3 Compendium, a digital book inside of Dota 2 that fans could purchase. It featured information about the tournament and allowed fans to make predictions, play fantasy Dota like fantasy football, and even vote on who can play in the All-Star match. It also came bundled with some cosmetics such as the courier, taunts and an XP boost. So everyone thought it was a very, very good deal. 25% of all sales of the compendium would go up to the prize pool of the International 3 tournament, with the other 75% going to Valve. So crucially, Valve announced that there's going to be stretch goals that range from more cosmetics to a 1-versus-1 tournament being added to TI if the total tournament prize pool hit a certain amount. So that initially started out with 3 before expanding to 7, 6 of which were achieved. The prize pool for TI3 started at 1.6 million. That ended with what was this? Which ended at 2,874,380, an increase of 1,274,380 that pocketed Valve $3,823,140. Well, at the time, this was just seen as a cool way to boost the funds for the Dota Pro scene. History was credited the TI3 Compendium as the first major iteration of the Battle Pass. Well, so now you know, after me telling you this, where the Battle Pass concept had come from. And it's important to remember, Valve, although not that prominent today, have been one of the most important, the most influential game developers in the history of video games. just go back in time, think about Half-Life, original game, Half-Life 2, think about the Left 4 Dead. Remember, what was the other one? Team Fortress. So, you know, these games are legendary, and they actually changed the world of video gaming altogether. So a bit more we have here, and that will be linked to what we are getting. Oh, here it is, yeah. We've heard that Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart will launch on PCs on July the 26th. So that is in about a week. Anyone who loves Ratchet & Clank, you are going to be able to do it on your PC. And then we had some new games announced that will be coming to Xbox Game Pass. We have Celeste, the game I played, which I consider to be very, very enjoyable. Figment, Creep Valley number 2. I've not played the game, but it looks appetizing. The Wandering Village, across the board really, for any either cloud console or PC. Toem, that's already been launched. I've seen it yesterday, not tried it. Actually, I've heard about this game through Larry and Jeff on Xbox Podcast. They talked about this game being quite unusual, as you were to be taking photographs, and then the photographs are going to be like a puzzle that you put together and get the narrative. So I'm very curious, very interested to see how this would work, because I think I've seen some of it a little while back, and it really kind of grabbed me. A very unusual type of game, and I think at the moment we have two sort of very original concepts. One is with photographs called Toem, and the other one is even the one with books. What was it called? Hang on, I'll tell you. So annoying when the information disappears in your display, you know. It's very very annoying. The Bookwalker, Thief of Tales. The Bookwalker, Thief of Tales, and Toem, or is it Tuum? Toem, I think it is. These are very, very interesting, very unusual games with that sort of creative signature splashed all over them. Then we are getting Serious Sam from a very well-known Croatian developer, a huge success years back with a major kind of FPS shooter type of title. This one is Serious Sam Siberian Mayhem, so if you're interested, you obviously can download it to your PC, Cloud PC, Xbox Series S and X. Then we have Maquette, and then we have a game that actually I've not played it, but I've watched it through the developer showcase during Steam Summer Festival. It's a game called Venba, about a family of Indian immigrants who go to Canada and then cook their own traditional Indian subcontinent recipes and create Indian food. So you actually use the game in order to learn how to cook curries and tikka masalas and dansaks and all the other types of dishes. It's a very, very interesting game. It's just funny, beautiful animations, and it's quite political because it talks about what it's like to be coming from one country to another, present day and age, and then learning and needing to kind of adapt and adjust to the new environment. So games coming to Xbox Game Pass. Okay. I'm trying to think whether there was anything else, but well, there are some other news, but we'll leave them for another rainy day, as we indeed talked a lot about everything that's come to us on the wire. Maybe just this last one. The most criminally underrated RPGs of all time, and that's DualShock. And they said to us that Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen is the one that they felt was very grossly underrated. Parasite Eve, I played it many years ago on PlayStation 1. Shadow Hearts Folklore, Helix, Grim Dawn, The Last Story, Legend of Legaia, Jeanne d'Arc and Radiant Historia. Well, I've got to say there are a few games there that I'm not familiar with, but Parasite Eve was a very popular game, and it is still a true cult title. So if you were to be in possession of the original PlayStation 1 boxes and discs, I can certainly tell you they're worth quite a bit today. So do not dispose of them. Keep them as the most treasured collectible, and in due course you will be able to make some bucks if you decide to sell or exchange with some other collectors on eBay or live auctions. Okay, so that's about it really. Let me see if we have any questions from our community members. Just bear with me a second. Bear with me a second. Okay. All right. So let's just have a look. What? Oh yeah, I know what it is. I'm so sorry. I just got befuddled with the incoming emails. So we'll just quickly have a look at the messages that were coming in. Bit difficult to get all the information here. So we have I do apologize, just lost some of the messages in here that I initially placed here to be read out, so I just need to find them. It'll take me a second. We have some messages from Supersai, and he said Solstice this year is fully cross-class, only need to upgrade the set once across all 3 characters. So the question was, is it like a suggestion? And he said, I got the glow on my warlock, and when I went to quickly check something on my hunter, the helmet was already glowing. Didn't see any mention of it, so I thought I'd let others know. So he's saying that basically we are getting immediately the glow on all 3 characters rather than need to grind for every one of them. So that's something different compared to the rest. And other people are saying that they have exactly the same thoughts, and they you know, they're finding that to be surprising. And other people also asking questions. Anyone able to confirm the following? If you transmog the base sunlit armor before upgrading to the glow, does it override the unlocked transmog with the white glow version? And then the other person says, as far as the game's concerned, with the same piece of armor, so I'd expect it to be overwritten. But I'm actually grateful to our friend Supersay for raising this with us and with everyone else. I personally not I mean, I actually picked up the glow yesterday, but I didn't really see it. I don't think I've fully enabled it. I still have to collect some materials and some other things in order to make sure that it properly works. And let me see what other questions we had. So another question, do you know what's a seasonal exotic which you feel Bungie has completely forgotten about and which has been left to suffer? So people had responded to this and asked various questions and gave us different suggestions. And so it's like a seasonal exotic that usually you'd get, and actually it wasn't featuring recently or of late. And our friend Shredded Gamer said that for me this would be Symmetry, like when really was the last time you heard anything about the gun or even seen people using it. And Yolka said Symmetry popped off recently because its alt-fire was shooting at the same RPM as its base mode. It was completely wild. And then Funter says Symmetry is low-key wild right now with shock and all. And Cesar said it is always my go-to for Gambit when I don't want to play Xeno. It clears ads easily and it's pretty good for invasion. So, you know, anyway, anyone who's interested, and I think Gale and Zenith will notice quite well, these are the weapons that you can use, but unfortunately it's not popping up in the course of this season, so they're questioning as to why that is, and that is Symmetry. Okay, so that's some questions coming in from our community and the community of Destiny Gamers on Reddit. And there was somebody asking, why on earth the change to Bonfire Bash? And he says, for example, you cannot use a Sparrow any longer for the event. You must use the launchers, and the launchers themselves do not allow you to change trajectory. That's coming from our friend Cranberry. And people asking what the reason for that is. And small map, and you can throw it from so far, and in some places of the building I really don't understand what the issue is. Well, there's no need to be using the Sparrow because it's a very tight map where you're doing the activity. I think that's probably the answer. And so, you know, that's probably the answer. Okay, so these are the questions that would have come to us through Reddit and Destiny the game. And that's about it really from our community-based content, so we can just crack on with some gaming, and that's exactly what we are going to be doing right now. I know that Gale and Zenith are waiting for us to proceed, and I want to ask Gale and Zenith, what are the activities that you would like to be doing today? Yesterday we were trying to polish off various things that you actually had on your list. We were doing some story missions that Gale still had to be completing, and we indeed were completing the tasks that Zenith had on our list. So what are we going to do today? Any ideas, any suggestions? Whilst you're considering it, I think I'll just get in and I'll try to do some admin. There was actually little time yesterday for the admin to take place, so we'll do this first of all today. We'll go to the tower. We also yesterday went to the weekly tasks. We completed the weekly story mission, the Nightfall. We've done the weekly challenge of the Elders. So it was quite hectic. It was a very good session, thoroughly enjoyable. We had Gale, Zenith and Shaba joining us live online. I always thank our community members and participants for doing so. It's yourselves that really make this community and this space very much worthwhile for everyone. In addition to this, I want to say that from today I will be always pinning one tweet. The pin will be displayed on the chat here on Twitch, and the pin will be connected to our charitable fundraising, and sometimes it may be connected to this channel and the support that it needs. So if you look at the pinned tweet, you'll see that it says I'm running a charitable fundraising campaign for @MindCharity UK. If you wish to support, you can click on this link. So if you're interested, you can just click on the link and get all the information. The charitable fundraising is in support of Mind, a UK-based charity that helps and provides professional services to people with mental health issues and emotional difficulties, and the services are provided in many of our cities and towns in Britain, and they really need our financial support. They need some funds to be donated, as well as the gamers and community members across the board to support their PR. many people in our community are experiencing lots of difficulties at present, and they need to know what this charity is about in order to be directed there should the help be required. And I always think that doing it in a community is by far the best. You share the information, other people get to know about it, they learn what the charity is about and what it's for, and indeed they feel driven to it. They can just make contact, they can ask for help, make an appointment, and those professional volunteers will be at hand to deliver those services. In fact, we did have some people earlier in the season, since I started, since I resumed with my broadcasts, who indeed were utilizing on the information, and they had confirmed that with me, which is terrific. This is exactly what I think the greatest benefit is. It isn't just about donating, it's about raising the profile, making sure that the gamers and other people in other communities are fully aware of the presence of the charity in our community, and if they are experiencing that difficulty, that mental health issue or massive emotional pressure, well, they know where to go. They'll go to the charity and they will receive professional assistance and help, which will benefit them tremendously. They'll be put back on a straightforward path to what to do in life. And sometimes, for people who are suffering from very serious illness, they'll receive advice in order what to do on a practical level as well, where to live, how to pursue housing, how to get your benefits, how to register with a doctor, how to get properly assessed, how to be able to use hospital services. It's lots of different things which indeed will benefit everyone who gets involved. And it's truly wonderful to see that there have been people who got to know, well, I say, stand corrected, they actually knew of the charity, they're familiar with what the charity did, but I felt a bit queasy. They felt, why should I go there? Why should I make first approach? And maybe I don't really need it. And after hearing about it here, and after our discussions, particularly those linked to video game mental health, they've gone there, they made this appointment, and they're already receiving the benefits. So that is absolutely terrific. Just remember, if you know anyone who is experiencing that sort of difficulty, make sure you direct them either to Mind, if you live in Britain, or a similar charity elsewhere around the world in your own country, in your own vicinity, because those places save lives. And we become involved with the process of saving lives by raising the profile, by doing the PR, by wanting to get people to be fully involved, and also by receiving donations. So if anyone feels that they want to be donating, they want to be supporting mental health, well, the link is always going to be pasted there right at the top, and it is there today, and that is what I will be doing every single day. Okay, so let's see what we've got there with our hunter. Before I do that, my friends, I need to nip out for 30 seconds. I'll be back as soon as possible, and then we'll carry on, and I'll bring in Gail and Zenith to crack on with some of our daily activities. So bear with us, I'll be back very, very shortly.
Bad address. That tower's empty, isn't it? Bad rattle. Very bad. I can assist upon request. Deliveries to the reef are open. HP 30 to Cassoid. Double time, double time. Guardian. Very busy, Guardian. message for Xur. What's Xur? For Ms. Levante.
Right, my friends, let's have a look what we got there. There is some admin definitely urgently required. I don't have a lot of space there, so I think that probably is what we need to do first. Just remember, in Destiny 1 we are not able to do very quick inventory compared to the sequel. It does take us a bit of time, but I've got to say, all these blue engrams that I'm picking up, they're giving me no loot that I can utilize on. I can just get rid of it all. I tried every single time, as at times I did have a blue engram that was giving me exotics, you know, from time to time, so I don't really want to miss out on the opportunity. But oh, there's something else in there as well. There's one weapon that we don't need. Oligarch. Make sure you polish everything off. And also always make sure that there is plenty of space at the postmasters. If there isn't, then what you'll get is the items that just get lost. And if you're doing lengthy, heavy grinds, that is absolutely what you don't want to see. Okay, so look, got these. I need to get rid of we need to get rid of something here on the inventory too. So what could that be? No, I don't need that really. And we'll pick up our Treasure of Ages. We'll open it, and then we'll see whether there are some real goodies in there. Let's hope there are. Devour of Moon, Silver Dust, Below Horn, and Felwinter Souvenir. Okay. The new horn is of interest, so let me just double check this. I want to see what this horn is going to be sounding like. That is interesting. This one, right? Ah, that's not good. We can't try it by the looks of it. Noisy horn. Bellow horn. Sparkle horn. We'll try it on our first ride, eh? We'll see what it's like. Possibly quite good. Okay, I'm not gonna bother this time. But what I do need to do is I need to get rid of one gauntlet, and that would be here with armor. So I'm not sure which one I should get rid of, because that's full. That's Mongrel, Ion Tracer, Spectre Aspirate, Spectre Infinite Grips. Ah, that one, get that off. Okay. So I should be able to pick up something from there. can take some of these, we can get rid of these, we don't actually want any of it. Yeah, that's also picky, needing to go in and out all the time. Okay, so back to the vault. And then we'll take another chest piece that's not needed. Let me see. Need to get out of the vault, back to the inventory, get rid of this, get rid of this. Pick this up by accident. All class. Prime Zealot Greaves. Fists flying, okay, that's not too bad, we can put this in. Okay, so that liberated some space there. It's about 4 spaces, alright. And we'll go back to Katie. And then we'll just really get rid of all of this. Because all of this has been picked up throughout yesterday's activity and none of them are of any use whatsoever. So just make sure that in Destiny 1 you always delete everything that's not needed, because you'll be having a lot of unnecessary time waste otherwise. And I'm actually partly guilty of that, because initially I would have kept many of these items, you know, like collectible items, whatever, but what I do today is I want to keep just masterworked pieces as well as exotics. So a small number of legendaries and every exotic. That's the idea. You may or may not agree with me, but you know, it's just all about space and not wasting time. I just find it really annoying when I have to be wasting time for nothing. Yeah, this one I've got. Arc of Nexus. We're not going to bother really checking these, we'll just get rid of all of them. The only one which is going to be checked is that legendary engram. That's the idea. The rest we'll just get rid of. And it's also, as you could see, reasonably fast. I think that shader. Okay. Well, it's fine. We got rid of everything. We just need to pick up the last one here, and then we'll be hoping that this is going to turn out to be a very valuable exotic, which is unlikely, but you know, you never know. Raku. Okay, Raku. Just got rid of it. Don't want Raku. So that's sorted, right? So we don't need to do any more of this. And let me see who is out there. We have Zenith, who can join us. Send an invitation to Zenith. we have Gale. We'll send this invitation to Gale. Alrighty, so we've sent two separate invites, one for Gale and the other is for Zenith. So let's see if Zenith and Gale want to join us. If so, we are going to be cracking on with some activities. We'll see what these activities are likely to be. As you could see, I completed Prison of Elders yesterday, so that's raising my reputation. I completed Queen's Eye Reef Bounty, Treasure Key, that's pretty good. 1 engram, that is completely useless. Heavyweight as well. The reputation has gone up. I think I'd like to do Prison of Elders, as these bounties are just about to be completed. Oh, there's Gale. Okay, cool. Let's see where Gale is. Let me just pick up some other bounties there though. Can pick up maybe some Vanguard grenade kills and solo ability kills, and then maybe Cabal. Yeah, that's fine. So that's sorted. Shiro 007. Well, that's not bad, is it? Oh, you're here. Huh. You're joined. Yeah, we can all dance a bit. Right, who wants to be doing what? Let's see. What tasks would you like to complete today? I'm curious. Zenith and me are having a boogie in there, look at that. Sit down, I got tired. I'm just mirroring my present physical state, having that problem with my legs, not being able to walk much. Actually, to tell you the truth, after we streamed yesterday, I streamed till quite late, and then I went to Tesco's to get something to eat, and I went there with a crutch and I could barely walk. I really had a difficulty with walking, and it's a bit better today, but still very far from being completely resolved. And I got to say that I've not been using the crutch for a while, and I couldn't believe how bad it was. I have no idea why. So I'm hoping that it will get better. So I'm resting in real life as well as here in the game, as you could see. Alright, so I'll wait for our friend Zenith and Gale to join me in here, and then we'll decide on what to do. And you guys need to tell me what type of activity you would like to be completing. So Gale, just tell me, is there anything that you want to be doing? Because I can promote you into and you can just crack on with story missions or anything else that you've got on the list. Equally, for Zenith, if there's anything else that you wish to do, just let me know. I'm ready, so I've got all the bounties and everything I wanted to have. I'll have a look at the overall setup. Yeah, these are the ones that I generally use. Really good weapons, and maybe I'll try Byronic here. See, that's actually 376. Scout rifle. 2 different scout rifles. Good optics. Alright, we'll see. We can try these. These weapons need to be masterworked, and I got them through some pinnacle activities, so they're locked, as you could see. Byronic here I will try some. There we'll be doing a variety, and then in here we still have some armor that needs to be masterworked, so we'll see what this is, depending on what activity we are going to be doing. You know, if we're doing Prison of Elders, I've got to have the very best. Cloak of Taniks. Okay. Memory score is quite good. It gives us extra orbs, and also it does give us the ability, if we kill enemy, then the nearby ally supers will be recharging faster. So I'm actually with Memory Score helping the super to be recharged quicker. Okay, Zenith is here. Where's Gale? Come on, what kind of activity would you like to do? I want to know. Because I'll do something that is based on your requirements rather than just me doing the usual. If you can just tell us a bit what the quests are, what you like to do. So what I do is I'll promote Gale to team leader, and we'll see then whether Gale will have some activities for us. We were doing several story missions yesterday. Gale, I've given you the team leadership, so you can just pick and choose. You've got various tasks in there, just choose whichever you like, and we can crack on. Just hang on, stay there, stay still, don't go anywhere. Take a screenshot of us here, so 3 of us, you know, like that. That's really looking good. Oh, that's really beautiful. Anyone who's interested, I will be giving you the screenshots that were indeed posted today. So let me just see. So have a look. Everyone, watch your Twitch chat. So these are some lovely screenshots that we've taken during the last few activities, which indeed were yesterday here on my channel. There we are. Look at this. This is all looking good. Well, this is quite good. We've got us collecting the loot yesterday after we had completed Prison of Elders. We didn't manage to complete the challenge.
The search to root out the Taken on Venus
As good as we wanted. We were about a few thousand points short.
If my information is correct, the Blight now curls around the heart of their citadel. This must not stand. The assault on the
Alright friends, let's crack on.
Detailed information about the Citadel spire.
Let's see what we need to be doing in there.
The heart of the Blight is there. At the
I
top
fancy a
of the
biscuit as well. I got some lovely hot tea in here, and we'll have some biscuits. In fact, I want to have it straight away. I fancy a biscuit before I crack on. Alright, we can certainly get fully engaged in here. Ah, that was a bit silly. Bit of a kamikaze effort. Thank you. I'll do the ads.
Almost done. Keep it up.
Not really. Ah, you got me again. We need to. I used my fusion rifle for this. That's going to be better. Why is he not gone?
Nearly there. Just hold out a little longer. Good work. Almost got them all. Guardian down.
No heavy ammunition, look at this. That's terrible. Synths. Okay. No one out there anymore. Okay. So for the benefit of our viewers, as you can see, we have Zenith and Gale here live online together with me, and we are completing some of the tasks. I think they're story-based missions that Gale still needs to be completing on some of the characters, and so we give you a bit of a variety compared to the usual sealers and weekly tasks, which we were doing in fact yesterday. We were doing everything yesterday. Wasted my super. Not really. Good work. Yeah. Right. Up here.
The roots of the Citadel go deep into the heart of the planet. The spire is the metal trunk of a very, very big tree. Sort of.
There you go first. You're the governor, not me. Ah, no need to go up there. We'll do this. Yep. Look at this. That's ridiculous. Ah, we got those again. Yep, that's right. Going up into the flow in there.
Remember Skolas? Crazy Kel, Angry Fallen? Can we go back to that? I prefer them to the Taken any day.
Ah, I hate this. You know, I died a million times when I played that first. 175 deaths in here. And I'm gonna die again. Boo. Boo, 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 boo. That was the most hated story mission for me. I remember Captain Jack watching and saying, "Why are you dying so many times?" It was my jumps, I couldn't really do them properly. Watch your back. Why? Why did I die? Oh, we are both there. Okay. I'll leave I used it, all good. Oh, come on! Why did I not get the third jump in there? It was the same problem when I played it first, I remember. Couldn't get the third jump. Hang on a minute, let's see whether I got the everything enabled properly. Double jump, triple jump, yeah, I've got everything sorted. You can go ahead, don't wait for us. Just go ahead. Missed it again. It's the triple jump that for me does not work properly here. In this mission, I don't know why. It's just been a problem in the past as well. Missed it again. Miscued it. I dropped off. Don't tell me that it bounced off again. God. Well, I hate this mission. That's just definitely the one that I had the biggest difficulty with in Destiny 1. Still turns out to be the same. Oh, go away, I can't believe I fell just before I got to the last one.
You sent Oryx screaming back to the Ascendant Realm, and still his echoes stain
I didn't
our
even get
system.
it,
That is why you are here, Guardian.
because this
Only
particular
you are
mission
strong
is
enough to
not
stand against the terrors of the night.
bringing us forward. So, there you are. But you completed it, so that's fine. Just carry on with anything else that you've got. At least I haven't died 145 times. Yeah, you can choose the next activity. We can just carry on. Okay. still going back to the tower. It's taking us a long while. There we are. Didn't pick up anything.
Your name. Bye.
The Rupee Man. Miss Potato. That's really cool. Miss Potato, hello. Let's go for the next task. We can crack on. Take us to whatever you need to be doing next. Alright, so let's wait for Gale to bring us forward. Just want to say to our viewers that the reason as to why you cannot hear Zenith and Gale today is not to do with any glitches or any problems with Twitch. It's to do with the fact that Gale is generally not using her mic and Zenith is streaming at the same time as me. So therefore we are not having his mic on either. So I can just talk to Zenith and Gale from my broadcast, and they can also respond through chat. Okay, what are we doing next? Let's see. What have we got there? What have we got there in stock for us? Let's see what activity is before us. Tell us. I'm not doing that mission again. I hate those jumps and always miscue one of those platforms. The last one for some reason was hard to complete. I don't know why. It's been a while since I did it.
So Zavala was here a while ago, gave this big speech about how proud he is, how well the Dreadnought campaign went, and you know how he gets. Anyway, he gave me a list here, setup locations for patrol beacons. We need them planted and tested if we're going to get that tub under control. You plant them, you test them, I'll keep you company.
That's sounding good.
Intel beacon. Helps us get the lay of the land, gives us updates on troop movement, skirmishes,
Yeah,
and
that's
the like.
also.
You've got the marker. Go do your thing.
Yeah, I'll be up there. You need to go up there to pick it up. The beacon's right at the top. Do a bit of jumping to get there.
Okay, the beacon signal is coming in loud and clear. Ah, in fact, I've already got a ping. Marking a hot zone for you. Go get a look at the fighting, see what you can see.
I want to try that. Just a second. Put this on. Sniper rifle hereafter. Look at this. Icebreaker. Ah, that was miscued. I need to take some ammunition. There we are.
Data's good. Second marker should have been downloaded to your Ghost. Intel beacons are Ikora's favorite, by the way. Never met a woman who appreciated ambient temperature and energy readings as much as she does.
Ah, it was good precision shots. Headshot, really. Quite good. I forgot about everything else. Just really pleased with my icebreaker.
The marker's up and running. The eggheads love these scoot and scan missions. I just like them as an excuse to stretch the old legs. I'm feeding you data for a few nearby energy spikes. Get moving.
Oh, got killed there. Charge accumulated. Oh, you got revived, okay. Ah, he got away, look at that. Just about.
Send you off with a pithy joke, but Harris started droning on about the pathways into darkness or some damn thing. Got distracted. Anyway, one more beacon to go, if you'd be so kind.
Guardian down.
That was good. Just for fun, really, sniping. I forgot how good this icebreaker was. You just reminded me of it yesterday when you picked it up, you know? Ah, no. Ah, no special ammunition in there. Okay. Oh, he's there. Okay. No, I can't do it. Can't do it with this weapon.
Beacon is hot. Yeah, that's a good signal. Getting some data on taking patrols around the ship. We've already got a hotspot on the board. Go clear out that flank.
I don't get it. Why is that so hard? Didn't see what the mission was actually. What the level of engagement was to be. Ah, wasted it. Ah, no. My aim just off mark. come on. Drops it again. Come on. Okay.
And that's a taken pack all cleaned out. Good work. You know, Zavala gets all cranky if you have more important things to do than plant beacons. Not a problem today. Come on back.
Alright, so that's been completed. Let's see what's next. Alright, where are we going? Taking us a while to get there, that's for certain. I don't have anything else to do here, so just take us wherever we need to go.
Checking. Received.
And you can try this just for fun to see if we are getting anything at all. Well, as expected, that's really not very good loot. Okay. Alright, let's see what's next. I guess something else on the Dreadnought, right? We're doing story missions in sequence. Let's see. Just testing my black spin, my icebreaker, that was quite fun. Didn't get to the final section of that quest, but you know, testing my icebreaker was good. Not used it for a little while. Right, Gale needs to choose the destination. Just choose the destination and we'll see where we need to go next. Shield Brothers, alright. Level 36, easy. I still use the same thing, I think. Let's see. Probably need to put one or two legendaries in my inventory for the heavy, because otherwise it's all exotics, and that's a bit tricky.
Then the Centurion and the Taken Ogre tried to stop you from killing the king? Didn't work. So the Centurion's Bond brothers are pretty angry they lost their commander. They're leading a team to blow the Dreadnought's core. Core goes, most of the system goes with it. You're gonna make sure that doesn't happen.
Why do you think they crashed their ship into the Dreadnought? Those are extreme tactics for the Cabal.
The Vanguard intercepted a signal, a message from the Cabal from way outside the solar system. A direct order to crash the ship, use it as a beachhead, and take out the king. Now that's loyalty.
particularly clever. Yeah, that's sorted. I need to go in here, the other way. Wait for Gale to come here. It's good target practice, got to admit. Ah, worm spore. Worm spore. Anyone who's still leveling up, just remember to collect all materials that help you with perks. You can unlock all the perks on your weapons, and then your weapons become mighty. Just collect everything, but huge number of weapons that go to inventory. That's the only thing you need to keep in mind. You don't have that many spaces. I guess the inventory here reminds me of what I had in Skyrim initially. It's a similar sort of thing. Very little space, or Stalker. Icebreaker. Okay, dokie. Ah, make sure you don't really catch any flames.
Why would you bring a tank to space?
Just had to get me.
Their signal. Maybe we should try the bridge.
Those Cabal soldiers have no fear. You know, when they go to war, they're kicked out of the Empire. Yeah, victory is the only way they get to go home. Not a lot of people know that.
Right, so we need to go forward. I've got some ammunition there. Icebreaker. Yeah, they've all gone. Nothing left there. That super was very effective. Today our friends don't have mics. This is why you can't hear anything that's coming from my teammates. And Gel's completing story missions on a hunter.
Aren't here. Let's keep moving.
No, it's not this. It's the other way down. Still stuck on there. God, I don't believe it.
If the brothers don't know their commander is dead, this attack could be some kind of bargaining chip. That's the power of the Brotherhood bond, Guardian. Kind of reminds me of Means of Allah. Less yelling, of course.
Right, these guys are done. Now the brothers. Bond brothers. We race energetically towards our target. Watch this. You know what? I'll need a different loadout. So
I
this
didn't think they would
one.
leave the core intact.
Go
Bombs.
back.
It's covered in bombs.
Yep.
There are munitions hooked up to each structural weakness on the core.
Not really. Don't have a lot of ammunition.
Shut it down, Guardian.
I think the brothers know we're here. Guardian down.
He's immune. Alright, I wasted my time and effort. He just didn't really take any damage. Thank you. He's immune. Good job I wasn't doing any spins, because I would have wasted all my ammunition in there. Yeah, well, I've got no ammunition left for my heavy. I need some extras. Ah, jumped in me. Trying to go to the captain. The captain was causing me problems. But then eventually I caused problems to myself. Thank you. He is exploded.
Targets are neutralized.
Somewhere, an awful long way from here. Some Imperial flunky is getting a message. Word that these brothers are dead and they have no more ranking soldiers in our system. You made that happen, Guardian. Savor it.
Dancing and celebrating our success. The Bond brothers have been eliminated. They're gone. So as you could see, we are doing some story missions for Gale. Gale needs to level up on her hunter. And to orbit, and then we'll be off. Tower. Okay. Did I pick anything up? Let's see. Yeah, I did actually. Wolf belt weave not needed. Not many items that I would call useful. Many that are of no use to anyone. Alright. That's been very enjoyable. We have a bit of a variety. I've not played some of these missions for quite a while. Just like Shabba said the other day, it's similar to walking down the memory lane. You come in and you're back to your, to your old place, meeting old friends, family members. It's that sort of thing. But I've got to say, that platformer there never ever makes me happy when I revisit. For the obvious reasons, as you could see. Approach.
Ready to serve. Bye.
Don't have anything in there. Nothing. Whenever you're ready, always assemble at the front, right? Instead of just going to orbit, always get together everyone here. near the Traveller when we sort of look in the distance, because then when we're lined up in there we know we're all ready. So that's the sign that everyone's ready. The team leader always needs to be there, so Gale's our team leader at the moment. Did I get any bounties sorted or not? None. Mind you, my bounties are mainly for strikes, Sealers and Vanguard, but that is of no significance in here. Look at that Khepri. That Khepri's awesome. You can see how the bug is constantly moving. So I like that. Look at that Khepri. Look at the bug. See that? Constantly in motion. Hand cannon loader, machine gun loader, impact induction, switchblade. Yeah, these are the good ones. Khepri Sting. So Zenith picks up quite a few bits of gear there. Everything went to the postmaster. Cade is busy. Gale's racing out there to Master Rahul. Zenith is ready. Zenith is going to join us. Oh, cool. Down here. Yeah, that's good. We'll just wait for Gale to join us, and then once Gale joins us, we'll crack on. Yeah, that's right, yeah. Alright, we'll sit down in there for a minute. Rest my bones. Stick and stones, rest my bones, right? Oh, this is quite a good shot, I quite like it. So, good. Big shot for Stu there. Yeah, that's quite good, got it. Look at the two of us through the railings on the other side, from the outside. We are just up front, so whenever you're ready, Gale, just join us and we can crack on. The Rupee Man's back again. Look at that Rupee Man. We've seen him 3 times. Osama bin Flawless. People come up with some really creative gamer tags, I've got to admit. One of my favorites in Warzone was Sir, I die a lot. Sir, I die a lot. Yeah, that's right. Cool. I'm ready. Zen is there as well. Yeah. So we can you know, we can go. We can be off. Alright, Gale, yeah, that's right. Up in the air. What's next, I wonder? Dreadnought again, I guess. Court of Oryx. I guess it's Dreadnought yet again. That would be a bit more difficult. Nice strike. Light 320 is the hard difficulty level. Imago loop, I've got everything here. Mind you, I can change that. Or maybe not, maybe we'll just leave it for the time being. We'll see what kinds of ads we'll be getting.
Some creatures of the Hive strain against the will of Oryx. Alak-Hul, the Darkblade, is one such.
Alak-Hul.
Long ago he fomented rebellion against the king, and attempted to take his mantle. Alak-Hul failed, and now awaits the mercy of the Hive. Given the chance, the Darkblade will step in to take Oryx's crown. We must not allow another prince to rise. The Darkblade suffers his judgment in the depths of a Hive prison. I am feeding an energy marker to your ghost. It will lead you to his cell.
This time I switched to Black Spindle. Black Spindle is a lot more deadly than Icebreaker. Ah, this is ideal for me. Ah, look at this. Running away from us. So what was that coming from, I wonder? Going the wrong way. Don't know whether you guys picked up this chest in here, which you, I guess, missed out on. Alak-Hul. I was just telling you with Black Spindle, whilst the guys were pushing forward. And Black Spindle has been producing really good results, as you'd expect it to. Black Spindle is my favourite sniper in this game. I like Icebreaker as well, but Black Spindle is superior. Yeah, the door's closing on my face. No, not really.
Sense a powerful incantation. Hive runes hold the far door shut.
My scan says the runes draw energy from those towers. If you get me over there, I can hack them and open the door.
Oh well. Ah. We'll do something else there. Where is it? Yep, that's the one I wanted.
Guardian down.
Just get rid of the other wizard in there as well. Hiding in there now. Well, that's no fun. The other one still lives, I think.
The spell is getting weaker. Let's get to the other battery.
No, not sure why that's going on here. Yeah, that chest. I need to go there. That wizard's hiding there. Yeah, I got him. Black Spindle does it. Oh, go away. That wizard was on my tail. It's gonna rocket him. Oh, you got him. Okay. Ah, I was too close range. My fault. Thank you. Thank you. Maybe ammunition. Right. We need to wait for Zenith to join us. Yeah, just wait for Zenith to join us because all our crew's down there. We need to do this a 3-piece.
Guardian down.
Okay. Oh, he's not dead. Can it be? Alrighty. We're rocking and rolling in here, I think. Oh, go away, he got me with his beam. Thank you. Yeah, we did get him, okay. God, he's having a bit of headache, don't you think? Me birthday on Friday. Day after tomorrow. So on Friday there'll be no stream, everyone. Guess why? Because I'm going to be celebrating my birthday. Still haven't decided what I'll do. I think Oppenheimer sounds like a good appetizing end of the celebs, and then dinner early on. I need to decide where to go. Gail says, after this strike I've got to go. Alright, no worries, you've been here with us from the start, so... And we had a lengthy community-based session with news and questions and Destiny contributions and all sorts, so it was all good. Thank you for coming and thank you for joining us and being a valued community member. I know that you're waiting for the stream to come every day, and hopefully it never disappoints, you know. And 1, 2. We'll get these shriekers. Ah, got shot too early. God, why is it not cracking? Finally. Finally, at long last. What was this? A shrieker just above me. Oh, that shrieker needs to be done. Yep. No worries. No worries, I'm nearby. Yeah, Black Spindle is just the best. Should be long gone. Okay. So now it's a la cool. So, oh no, actually we got still some ads. Just wait for Zenith. Yeah, Zenith's joining us. Okay.
The wizard Varrock was his mate.
Look at the view from here. It's absolutely spectacular. just think about this. If you were to find yourself on that ship, and it's a ship, you know, the whole Dreadnought is a ship.
Romantic.
Okay, I need to change my weapons. Let's go back to Dark Drinker. And then, let me see. Is there some heavy ammunition there as well? Oh, there is, yeah, okay. I'll pick this up, I need it. That's it.
Alak Hul is near.
Yeah, I'll be coming from this side, I think. Oh, he's gone into the bubble. Look at that. Can't believe it. That troll had to explode on me, you know. No, we'll respawn, that's fine, we'll respawn in a couple of seconds. Well, he's still there, I thought he was gone. You got him. Alak Hul is gone. How many have I got actually? How many skeleton keys do I have? 3. I'm not gonna waste them here. Alak Hul is dead.
What you have done in their names. Toland, Saimota, Omar, Ariana 3, Vel Tarlo.
Got 30 precision kills. That's really a good shot. You do well in Prison of Elders. Alright. You wanna bring us back, or do you want to depart? You can make me a team leader again if you want. No, it's true. Look, you got 30 precision kills, so you do well in Prison of Elders, because Prison of Elders, you know, the challenge needs to be all precision shots. Like back-to-back precision shots. That's what's necessary. And I think we concluded that we aren't such good shots here. Zenith and myself. We're not too bad, but we are not as good as some of the other bullseye types of participants. Okay, do you want to go back to the tower? Oh, I'm the team leader. Okay, so what do? We go back to the tower. Ah, Gale's gone. Ah, now I want to know whether... Well, we'll go to the tower, just in any case. Zenith probably needs to do some admin. If not, we'll... Well, let's have a look if you've got something, Zenith. Is there anything you want to do? I'll turn you... I'll give you the team leadership, and then we can do whatever you wish. Do it together. Promote to leader. Why not? Why can't I do that? Don't understand. Should be able to. Want to see what Zenith is wearing. The Wounded. Event Horizon. Yeah, it's quite good. That's good. Galahorn, of course. Starwatch Shell. I've got that too. Darkblade helmet. It's really good. Oh. Wanted to see a bit more. Jovian Guard's good. The Armamentarium. Armamentarium, in fact, is really good. You get Void Recovery, Void Armor, Heavy Ammunition, Special Ammunition. Well, I think that's probably going to be my favorite, Armamentarium. I need to get it. I don't think I've got it on my Hunter. I need to double check the vault. That's exactly what I'll do. Armor. The one I've got is Tarantella. Arc Burn Defense, Arc Armor, Fusion Rifle Ammunition, Pulse Rifle Ammunition. It's not it. We want that Armamentaria. And I haven't got it in here, but it looks like I've got two of these. Alright, what's this? Voidfang Vestments. Arc Burn Defense again. Okay. That's not too bad. It's got extra ammunition for cannon and for pulse. Crest of Alpha Lupi. Void Recovery, Auto, yeah, Void Armor. That's quite good. Crest of Alpha Lupi. Oh, mind you. Just give us a second. We'll swap something here. Tarantella, Lucky Raspberry, Starfire Protocol. Okay. Void Recovery, Arc Armor, Sniper Rifle Ammunition, Automatic Rifle Ammunition. So then what I'll do is I'll just swap. Okay, this one we don't need. Swap. No, to go to the vault. Stick this armor Exaltation Vest in the vault, and then we'll pick up some other. Let me just see. Okay, Alpha Loop is quite good, but let me see if I got another one. That Armamentarium, if I got it. Heart of the Praxic Fire. Upgrade Defense, Upgrade Defense. Heavy Weapon Ammunition, Upgrade Defense. I don't have that Armamentarium. That's That's tragic because I really fancied it, but what I'll do is I'll take probably Alpha Lupi. Alpha Lupi has Void, no, that's Solar. And what was the other one? This one. No, that's Crest of Alpha Lupi. Oh yeah, it is, yeah. I got it, Masterworked, yeah. Okay. I'll take that for Void Recovery. Ah, it's for Titan, it's not for shame. Okay, this one has Tarantella has Arc, Burn Defense, and then Lucky Raspberry. Okay, take Lucky Raspberry then instead. And Mongrel. No, Mongrel. Oh no, why did I do that? Just picks up. Just see whether my okay, so that's fine. And then we said Lucky, no, what was it? Yeah, Lucky Raspberry we'll put there. Stuff up protocol. Just a minute. That's for Warlock. Should be able to put this in the vault. And then I probably can pick up another chest piece. I don't really need any of these. Arc burn. That's Titan and Warlock. Okay. That's Warlock too. Got plenty of Warlock armor. Mind you, I played Warlock quite a lot initially, so... Well, I need to be getting that piece that Zenith has, definitely. Nevertheless, I'm sorted, I think, as far as the next activity is concerned. What we'll do is we'll give Zenith the team leadership, and then Zenith can really walk us through. Promote to leader. Oh, I'm the team leader. Okay. Okay, bear with me, friends. I'll have to take a short break. Zenith says, whatever you'd like to do, I have about 30-45 minutes left, and then I have to jump off. No worries. Let me just take a very short break. I need to take like a few minutes break, like 5 minutes. I need to get some water, I need to get sort of properly hydrated, and once I come back, we can, I mean, we can do anything really. We can do some tougher, more difficult activities for us to pick up better loot. So I think that's what we'll do. Just please bear with me. I need to take a break for 5 minutes. Also want to say to the viewers, I need to take a short break. I need to get some water. Need to have a bite to eat, and then we'll carry on with our stream as usual. So stay with us. I'll be back in 5 minutes.